Let's talk about splits. Is a split ever a good thing? Split ever a bad thing? And what is a split? You definition. I mean, they split what? Split atoms, splitting hairs, split relationships, splitting jobs, splitting things. I mean, split. But let's humor me a little bit. Let's see tell me what you think. Is a split ever a bad thing? What if you and the other person don't agree on something? What if you have disagreements about, say, the color of a house? You split on that? Nah. How about the color of the car? Nah. How about the color of your skin? Making videos to ramble on? Nah, I got something to tell you. What if you have opposing ideas? Do it or else. Suppose you say, I disagree. Is there time to split? You read in the Bible, Proverbs and Ecclesiastes in particular. To everything is a season and a time for every purpose under the heavens. Going further. There is a time to split sometimes. So I keep asking, as I look back over history and stuff, and I said, look at the Civil War and look at the stuff back then. It seems like there's some groups or some agencies and people trying to tell you that maybe a split is imminent. And what are you going to split about? Because he told you, there's only going to be two classes in the end of time when God, from what I understand from the Bible, what's going to happen. Those who are on God's side and those who are not. So we have to ask ourselves, which side are we on? Well, the side on God's side says those who keep the commandments of God, the remnant, and have the spirit of prophecy. The other side says, we're going to follow what the world says and do it the world way. Worldly doctrines, worldly customs, worldly forms. That's it. So all this stuff arguing about whether it's bathrooms or gender or medical or non-medical, essential, non-essential, all that stuff, you're thinking all down together, only two classes. You're on God's side or you're not. So like Elijah also on Carmel. How long halt ye, all of us, between two opinions? You saw in the previous video, just said, are we angry? Are we outraged? And if you're angry, God said be angry, no sin not. So I'm not saying go sin when you're angry. But same, where's the outrage? Where's the anger? So how long halt ye between two opinions? Me too. I'm speaking up. And I'm hoping that you, Mr. will speak up as well. Because many people are speaking up and they're blocking them. Or trying to speak up and they're not letting them be heard. Some people are losing a lot of money, losing a lot of endorsements, a lot of contracts have been pulled from them. In Hollywood, business, other things too. Some are trying, but some just appease them. I said, okay, I do this, but I also do that. So they kind of trying to straddle it. Only two classes. So, what if you say, well, let's split? Well, how about this? What was the Civil War fought over in America? The other countries have civil wars also. Some people right now, they're fighting over even something. You might see fights over food and stuff again, and rations and grains and stuff, because I hear the food prices starting to rise like crazy again. And you see it also. Gas prices keep rising left and right. And who's the one in charge? Who's the one doing this stuff? Look at the energy. Look at the issues. Look at the wars. Look at all the stuff going on around the world right now. Remember in the first set of videos when first started making it? Is it getting any better? No. It's getting worse in terms of visual, what you see in terms of, what's happening in humanity, morality-wise. Better, possibly, I would say more leaning to the yes, in the sense that God's working things out so that we will see the good ending in the end. So is it getting any better, getting worse? Right now, it's not getting any better with stuff we see happening outside the world. But in God's eyes, we're nearing to a better ending. So it's a little bit of, depending on, by how you juxtapose and put it together. But you say it's a split. Well, here's the thing. If you're going to do a split, how shall this work? Because you need money, you need finances, you need that kind of stuff, you need infrastructure. Who has the money and infrastructure and stuff like that? Because it doesn't come for free. It's not what it costs. And who's going to fund the split? And the split doesn't have to be violent or revolutionary like that, like that kind of scenario. But I'm thinking about it. If there's a split, if there's a difference of ideas and differences of opinions, and you see differences of how the countries run. Some people want to do this, some want to do that. Well, I'll put it this way. If everybody wants to collectively come together and do this, okay, go ahead. Like the Tower of Babel. If you want, because after when language was confounded, right now we have a lot of confounded languages messing us up also. Those who want to do this, then go that way. But don't go that way and then try to attack the one over here and then, attack the one over here. No. I'm talking in riddles and all kinds of stuff right now. You're trying to say, what is he trying to say? I'm trying to straddle a fence. Okay, I'm trying to get to it. Okay, I'm straddling. You know? Try to straddle it. Because I'm like, there's a lot I want to tell you. I can't say it fully yet. But I think the time has come where I may have to, you know? But again, it doesn't come for free. You know? So it doesn't need to be split. But we need people who have the system and the backing and the skills to help other people who may need the assistance and the backing, you know, to continue. You know, it seems like the habits are that those who want to do one thing and the bad side already have everything ready to go. Those who want to do the right thing have to seem to struggle and try to scrunch and put things together. And it's kind of sad. And they say, well, then they say, oh, it's your God let you down. No, not so. There's a lot of faith in there as well, and also it's the way of teaching people how to be appreciative of the small thing they have. But there are also deeper meanings that only God can reveal for Himself. But the question is a split ever a good thing? Sometimes there is. Irreconcilable differences, reconcilable ideologies, reconcilable treatment, unfair and unequal treatment. There may need to be a split. Okay. But if you look at this, remember I said before, what's the common thread and other things? It's not really a racial issue. It's not a racial issue. Race is just the outside picture. Color, skin color, tone, you know, you're light, you're dark. That's just an outside symptom of the stuff. But the mentality and what's in the heart and what comes out of the mouth, that's what we're talking about. There are many people call for the death of many people because they chose to do something different than others. Many people are brainwashed and attacking each other because they chose to believe differently and chose to act differently. Some of them didn't want to wear the mask. And some were attacked and criticized and threatened. Some were beaten, some were slapped, some were hurt, some were poured water upon. Some said trust in the system. The system has not been accurate. The system has not been doing the proper thing. The system, what system? And who's the system? Who makes up the system? Grasshopper or the ants? Or both? What's it on the dark side of darkness? To me, they're all on one big uni party, working together, two different ways to the same ending. So what system is really in control? Because remember, in the end, only two classes, God's or the world's. And I'm not giving a finger to give there. I'm just one or the other, right? So we have to make a decision here. You know, people say, I know there's no need for a split. We can just work together and work it together. One group is saying, we're going to get you. We're going to you. The other group is saying, well, it's not that bad. Have you forgotten history? Look back at the revolutions. Look back at what happened during the time of World War I and II. Even before that. Look back at what happened during the time of Rome and Nero and all these things back then. Look back. Do not forget your history. Do not forget where you're living on borrowed time. God's about to wrap things up in a very, I say short order. People say don't look at his delayed, you know, the Bible says don't look at his delays because I was like, his God is slackers in his promises. No, he's very purposeful and very dutifully keeps his promises. We just have to be ready to answer to it. You know, when he says, you know, the Bible says, you know, when Jesus asked about John the Baptist, what went ye out for to see to people? What went ye out to see? Because they went to see John the Baptist baptized by the river Jordan. They said, what went you out to see? A reed shaking in the wind? So what went you out to see? When you turn into the video, when you tune into it, what are you looking to hear? What are you looking to see? Because if you're not aware of it, let me let you know, I cannot say everything I want to say right now. You may not be able to say everything you want to say. If this video gets to you, God bless. Trying to see how far you can let it go. But you see other groups, Twitter and TikTok and other groups and Instagram, all the stuff, they can pull you off in any minute. They don't like what you say, you're done. And I'm like, that should not be permitted to happen. Everyone should be able to have an intellectual discourse and discuss the issues. Talk. What's wrong with talk? What's wrong with communicating? Is that why they put on us before? They don't want us to talk? Is that why they censor us? They don't want us to say anything? Because we might become more humanized to each other? So by putting the mask on, we become humanized or dehumanized? I notice natures of people getting a little bit more aggressive and angry with each other, and I wouldn't be surprised that thing dehumanizes people and makes people feel kind of left out and excluded. But again, the question is, where's the outrage? Where's the anger? You say, you don't see it with me? I got it. There's a lot of it there, but I'm channeling it into something more positive. Because, God said, be angry and sin not. And then again, it costs a lot. And, I can't just think about myself. I got to think of the family and the kids, everybody else as well. It costs a lot. So some people may or may not like the videos and tone of how it's coming out and how I'm saying this, but it have to be said. How long are we going to halt between two opinions? If God be God, we follow him. If not, we follow the world. The world is heading to a certain direction. God is heading to up. The world is heading. Okay? So when people talk about, climate change and this, and all this other stuff, come on. You gotta look at reality. They've been telling us stuff for how many decades now about this and this and that, always playing up on our fears. Fear-mongering. They call it the fear porn. Fear-mongering. This will get you. If you don't do this, it's like buying some things and some insurance, some things you get. If you don't get this will happen. If you don't do this, your car will get scratched and this. If you don't do this, what if you get an accident? There's always going to be a what if. And that's the sad thing. It's true. We don't know for ourselves. We don't know the future. There's always going to be a what if. It's just a shame. We have to kind of be dependent so much on other people to have to be the ones to give us that, that little extra, that paycheck or something. Because, it's difficult. It's difficult to say something, to make a stand. You gotta risk a lot. Then you say, is it worth it? But to not say something and to let it continue, is that worth it? Or is that risking more? Some people say, no. Remember if you guys remember the story, and I hope you guys are reading these stories and stuff and go back to, read the story of Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And you notice when Daniel stood up for what he believed in, and he kept doing it, like the disciples too, when they continued to follow God rather than man and stood by their principles, let's go even further, go back to Job. When you stand up for what you're supposed to, right, God will stand with you. When you stand for God, he'll stand with you. When you acknowledge God, he acknowledges you. At the same time, God is permitted to allow something to be martyred. And that's the hard thing for some people to understand. How is it God can let that happen? Why good people suffer? Why don't the bad just get wiped away and taking all the bad things? But then who is bad? Who is good in that determination? Depending on how it is. It could be a subjective thing or objective, depending on who's looking at it. So you have to yourself, we have to ask ourselves, if God took me away right away when I made something, when I made a mistake, what? Would God be just and righteous? No. But if God waited for me to kind of hopefully figure out what I did wrong and trying to get myself together and say, okay, I understand, I made some mistakes, Lord, I'm sorry. I ask you, can you please forgive me? There's a thief on the cross. God said, today, you shall be with me in paradise. God is willing to forgive and willing to help. Mankind should be following the same way and willing to forgive and to help. At the same time, God will do his strange act. Strange act means to exact punishment and dole out judgments for people who are obstinate and continue to violate his laws despite the truth, which he is, without acknowledging his way. If we love each other and treat each other the way we're supposed to, what happened the last 3-4 years should not have been permitted to happen. But it also happened during the time of the Holocaust and during the time of, during the time of Esther and Purim. What happened should not have happened. Okay? And where were the churches? Where were the government agencies? Where were all these different groups supposed to say, we're here for freedom and for liberty and to protect and to save everybody? Where were they? I see a few of them, 1 or 2 here, a handful stood up. Pastors stood up, risking their own lives, getting arrested many times. Canada and other places. But some of these big churches say they preach about law and liberty and they're doing this to help brothers and parishioners. I don't see them volunteering to go give up money to people who are suffering right now, who have to pay the price to stand up for their beliefs. Where are they? But they're still asking, give. Well, I could say what I want to say. Can't say it yet. But I'll tell you this much. Hypocrisy will come at a high price. Hypocrisy is not doing God's will. Hypocrisy is like a nail in the hypocrisy, lies, violating God's law will lead to self-ruin and communal ruin in the end. We have to do it God's way. We have to do it God's way. No other way. So I'm going to end it here for now and just let you know. I care about you. I know you care about me too, but and I tell you, we got to do this together. We have to work together here because I cannot do this alone, and neither can you. And like I say, collective bargaining, we have to collectively bargain, one, to God, ask God to help us to give us strength to continue to endure what's about to happen in this world. Because I have a feeling something big is about to happen in this world. Very big. Life-changing many people. And they'll blame other things here and there, but they'll also scapegoat other people and blame other people, say it's their fault, it's their fault. Like Nero did back in the times of the Christians and the Roman Empire. We have to be careful who we believe and who we listen to. Let's listen to that still small voice. Let's listen to God's voice, not the world's. Only two classes are going to be in the end. He's on God's side, him or her on God's side, and then the other. Cannot serve both God and mammon. Cannot serve both God and money. Cannot serve both God and be Laodicean or serve the devil. One or the other. Okay? So hopefully in time I'll get to speak more and tell you more directly what I want to tell you. But for now, just understand that God's doing his work. And we need to be very careful and to join in and to help. Because if we don't do it, he'll pass us over. He'll give it to somebody else. As I told him before, as the scribes and the Pharisees, the lead teachers of the law, if the people stop crying, Hosanna, Hosanna, welcome the Son of David, and ushering Jesus into Jerusalem, if they stop praising and worshiping God, the rocks will cry out. And the sad thing, I think the rocks are crying out right now already. Many people are not praising anymore. They've been turned down, they've been let down by false religion, hypocrisy, false teachers, false Christ, false people who have used them, abused them, and left them out to raven wolves to ravage them. They're not doing what they're supposed to. The churches have not been doing what they're supposed to. And either many of the other institutions, including healthcare, many of them have not been doing what they're supposed to. They're taking oaths, but are the oaths made to God? What is a Hippocratic oath? Is it an oath to God or Hippocrates? What is this do no harm oath? Is it to God or to somebody else? Who are these oaths being made to? God or another? Do no harm. I mean, I purposely say, I go into it saying I want to help everybody. I love my patients, I love my family, I love everybody. I love them all. I want everyone to get better and be healthy, not to be sick at all. But there are other things in the world that that affect us, and we make choices. But people have to understand, choices come with consequences. And I'm praying by the grace of God that that the choices I make and His benefit will be rewarded with more good things from that. And I'm just trying to speak it, from the heart and let you guys know that I see it, I feel it, I'm also living in it, I exist, I endure it as well. And I say this because I care and because, if many people don't say anything, it's going to be a losing battle. Because this is a battle. This is a battle for people's minds and hearts. It's a battle for your whole being, your whole, your entity, your soul, but not something inside of you. You are a living soul. It's a battle for our lives here, And it's about, wow. How so? A friend of mine always teases me, says, how come I'm like going to the movies and relaxing and enjoying life every day, but you seem to be always running headed for the hills? And I'm like, because I see a lot of things around me. I'm trying to pay attention to what's happening. You look at herds, when they do migration stuff, and they go to drink water at say a lake or croc infested, pond. If you take your eyes off the predator, you might become a prey. So we not to take our eyes off of anybody who's looking to make us go away or to be our demise. We need to keep our eyes on the predator. Drink. Bring the water to you. Don't just bend your head into there and drink. Because you may lose your head. We may lose it. So I'm saying, I pray everyone can hear this in the sense that who actually are tuning their ears to this. We have some tough decisions to make. And for those who can help each other, we need to help each other now. Those who are saying, I want to speak up and fight against this bad stuff happening, we need to do that now. Because the other sides have already formed the confederacies to do evil and to do wickedness. We have to form groups and to become schools of learning and teaching and education to do a godly work on our side. We have a great commission to go ye therefore into all the worlds, okay? To teach them and to baptize them in the name of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. We have a work to do. So we have two classes, right? Two classes. One wants to do the work of the devil, one wants to do the work of God. God's way is going to win in the end, but the devil's going to make a very valiant fight. And it may look like if God's people are losing, but not really. God's people are actually winning. But we have to see what sin does as it's played out. Anything violating God's law, we have to see what sin does to play out. And this is my opinion for it. Again, all the words I speak are only those of my own. I don't speak on behalf of anybody. I'm just saying, we have to be honest with ourselves and honest with our families and friends and relatives. Tell them the truth. And stand upon your beliefs. Stand up on God. I pray God this comes through the right way. Doesn't get flagged or blocked in that. I'm just trying to tell people I care. Okay? Thank you all. We'll catch up in due time. God bless you.